Hello again, I'm Robert Fiffin back with another video, and this time it's just some recent vinyl finds that I picked up, and this time, unlike the last two box sets videos I put up, these are titles that I didn't currently already have. Like this one, a couple of Record Store Day for Black Friday releases here. This is Big Brother and the Holding Company featuring Janis Joplin live at the Grand Ballroom, Detroit, Michigan, March 2nd, 1968. So yeah, this is another one of those Record Store Day live, out of the vault releases. These are always hit or miss. You never know what kind of qualities these are going to be. And this is stellar. I got two questions. Number one, why has this been sitting around in a vault for like decades and decades and decades and never before released? It sounds amazing. Number two, how much other great stuff is just sitting there in a vault while we're re-releasing Creed records? This is, the sound is great. It's off the soundboard. It's in stereo. It's not some bootleg. It's not some FM radio broadcast that somebody taped on a cassette. This is a great album. It's just a single album, a really quick concert. Only, 8 tracks on here. Some of them, like Ball and Chain wraps it up. That's 10 minutes long. Which, by the way, one of the best versions of Ball and Chain that I've heard. It's a little more musical, I guess. She does a little more of a straightforward kind of singing, especially in the beginning of it. It doesn't have the big part where she breaks it down and starts talking to the audience, like she does in the Festival Express one that's on the greatest hits. This has a song that I've not heard before from Big Brother and the Holding Company, called Magic of Love. It's the second track off here. Great song. This has an absolutely cranked up rock version of combination of the two. The sound on this is better than the Cheap Thrills album version. The guitar is just loud and in your face and total rock out with that song. Piece of My Heart is on here as well. An excellent version of that. This is a 5-star album. I am so glad I decided to pick this up because, like I said, the live stuff that comes out for the RSDs is hit or miss. The Doors one that came out I didn't get because it was a 4-record set. I knew you don't know what you're going to get with those. I didn't want to pay all that for a 4-record set. So instead I got a 6-record box set. But anyway, because the one I got before that, I think it's in... I want to say, I can't remember, it's in Europe somewhere where it was recorded. And it's got like 2 songs where Jim Morrison is like off the mic. Basically, he like either dropped the mic on the floor or the mic came unplugged or something, which is great for like historical purposes, but it's not a live album I'm going to revisit a lot. This absolutely is. I will be listening to this. This is one of my favorite of all time Record Store Day releases. Everything about this is great, including even the inner sleeve here. Look at the beautiful photo there on one side, and you get a nice photos from the concert on that side, and then the record itself has a looking like the old Columbia 2i label. So it looks like something that would have come out in 1968, 1969 on Columbia. So everything about this is just absolutely excellent. So glad I picked that up. And this is the other thing that I got for Black Friday, RSD. Not so happy with this one. This is T-Rex and Tanx. I've wanted this album for a very, very long time. T-Rex albums, not easy to come by here in the Midwest of the U.S. And I never see this, so I thought I'd pick this up. Now, the way a lot of record stores do Record Store Day now is they will solicit their customers to, tell what they want in a list. Send me the Facebook message or an email. Let me know, or in the store, let me know what you want. I will order it for you, and that way you're sure to get it. Record store owners don't really like to just order up all the RSD titles and then a bunch of them just sit there, and now they've basically lost all that money because they have to pay for what they order, So a lot of times stuff doesn't sell, it just sits there, and now the record store owner has lost money. So they want to know exactly what the customers want. Best way to do that, you just tell them what you want. So I told them that I definitely want the T-Rex Tanx, because when I first saw it on the RSD list, it did not mention at all that this was a picture disc. I just assumed this was a reissue. Didn't know this was a picture disc. Here comes Record Store Day. It's a picture disc. And so, yeah, not really happy about that. Although I don't really have a lot of picture discs, so, I guess I'm due for some. There's what it looks like. There's the front. There's the back. And of course, the original album of this, there's the back cover of that, which looks like the front cover of the album. And, you know, the original album is a gatefold. The gatefold inner isn't really remarkable. It's a bunch of cartoon tanks, and, you know, I think one side's green, one side's white. But the back cover is actually pretty cool, kind of colorful. I mean, okay, a couple of colors anyway. And I would have liked to have had that, but that is not a part of this. It's just the picture disc. It sounds pretty good. It's a little crackly, though. I don't know if it would have not been crackly if it wasn't a picture disc, but it is somewhat kind of crackly. But a great album. I mean, it sounds like T-Rex. This is the part where he, you know, brings in the soulful backup singers, kind of changes the sound just a little bit, but not too much. It's still definitely classic T-Rex. And the great thing about this album is I've got a few T-Rex compilations on CDs, especially. And the songs on here don't usually show up on CDs. I mean, Born to Boogie is on there. Tenement Lady's on there. The rest of these are pretty hard to come by. They're just basically on this album. You got really short songs like Shock Rock, you know, you don't have to shock if you want to rock. It just says that over and over again. You know, the Electric Slim and the Factory Man is on here. Rapids, just great classic T-Rex. I mean, you love T-Rex, you'll love this. I mean, I know that this album does not get the critical acclaim that the other ones do, but it's still great T-Rex. I think this is the 4th album that was released under the name T-Rex, so great to have. But again, you know, I don't know how everyone does this, but when I get an album that I've been wanting for a long time, it's almost like that feeling is satisfaction of you finally got it. You know, you can kind of cross it off the list. You have it now. It's yours. You brought it home. You wanted it for a long time. You got it now. You got it at a great price. That's always the main thing there. You know, you don't want to just order it. You want to find it in the wild, or you want to get something. This, though, I feel like it's that halfway point, because I got this picture disc, no back cover, no gatefold. I feel like I kind of halfway have it. You know, like I don't fully own this album. So it's a kind of an annoying kind of halfway kind of feeling with the T-Rex picture disc. In addition to the 2 RSD Black Friday records, I also picked up the latest from the Talking Heads in the reissue series that Rhino's putting out. This one is Talking Heads 77, and now it's a 2-record set with a gatefold. The gatefold is basically just the original inner sleeve, so you know, you got the lyrics and the group photo there. Also some information up here about what's on this record 2 in here, which features all kinds of cool outtakes, B-sides, A-sides. It's got one of my favorite songs from the early days, the Love is to Building on Fire, which I first heard on the 2 CD compilation way back, probably about, when did that come out, like 92 or something like that. Love is to Building on Fire, Sugar on My Tongue, that's on here as well. The acoustic version of Psycho Killer, which was originally the B-side of Psycho Killer. Great song, I Feel It in My Heart, which features a groovy little organ on there. I love that, and that was originally part of, I think that, remember the Talking Heads brick that Rhino put out? It was like 8 CDs and DVDs and all kinds of, it was no vinyl, just CDs and DVDs. And it was like back in 2006 or something like that. So that a lot of these were on that. But this is a nice, you know, if you don't want the big CD, DVD collection of that, this was a nice, concise way of getting some of these bonus tracks. And the bonus LP on here is just as much fun as the original release. Very, very quirky. You get, like I said, the acoustic version of Psycho Killer with some alternate lyrics. You even get another version of that, as well as the final track on here. And of course, all the great tunes that are on the original album, the original Psycho Killer, Don't Worry About the Government, where, you know, if you call me, I'll keep working. My friends are important to me. Yeah, so all that good stuff is on here as well. Love Comes to Town. That's No Compassion, the longer Talking Heads song, the one that's over 4 minutes long. So nice long Talking Heads song. I wonder if the Psycho Killer lyrics, like they're different, like I said, in the original acoustic version and that early version. I wonder if they were changed by the suggestion of Lou Reed. Reportedly, he came in and gave these guys some advice early on before this album came out. I wonder if maybe changing some of those lyrics were part of it, because the early lyrics, what ended up being the official version of Psycho Killer is much better, in my opinion. But Happy Day and just all kinds of quirky Dave Byrne and company on here. Talking Head 77. I've never had this album before. Like I said, I've had that double disc compilation. I've got another comp. I've got the single for Love is to Building on Fire. I've got the single for Psycho Killer, but never actually had this album. So now I do, thanks to this Rhino reissue. And this did come out in, I think it was a 4-disc box set, but I went ahead and just went with the thinner, more concise 2 LP. I think that's good enough for me, and eventually someday I might stream some of those songs that aren't on the 2 discs that are on the 4 disc and see if I was really missing anything. I usually like to just kind of, you know, when it comes to outtakes and things like that, not necessarily B-sides, because they were always meant to be played on vinyl and whatever, but when it comes to demos and outtakes and stuff like that, you know, live tracks that were never on a live album, I usually like to just stream those. You know, those are kind of curios that you just stream. I don't necessarily need to have those on vinyl or something like that to play over and over again. So cool just to have the 2 record version of that. I also picked up this reissue on, what is it, Radiation Records, I think? Yeah. There, these label there, and it's Agent Orange and Living in Darkness. This was originally released in 1981 from this West Coast punk rock band. And I did a review of this back when, I think it was, you know, a few months ago when I was taking suggestions about albums that people want me to review, and someone suggested Agent Orange, Living in Darkness. I was familiar with their Bloodstains song, the single version, loved that, but never really got around to hearing a full-length album. Full-length album, great as well. Kind of a vulnerable kind of sound. It's a little more heart in this band, in the lead vocals especially, than most of the punk rock bands that just want to thrash out and be obnoxious. These guys actually sing with a little bit of heart. And their original 1981 release on Posh Boy Records only has like 8 songs on it, and they're punk rock songs. So the album is more like an EP, actually. So thankfully, this reissue actually adds, 5 songs? Yeah, 5 songs to it. So it's more of a full-rounded album. You've got, of course, the LP version of Bloodstains on here, which I definitely prefer the single version. But No Such Thing, I Cry for Help in a World Gone Mad. That title pretty much says it all. You get cover versions of some 60s instrumentals. Misralou, they do a great version of the Chante's Pipeline on here as well. Just great West Coast punk, but a little, like I said, a little more heart involved in this with Agent Orange. Glad to pick up a reissue of that, because that's another album that I never see an original anywhere. So those are 4 brand new records that I got. I also got this, original from Alice Cooper, Zipper Catches Skin from 1982. This was part of his blackout period, and I had talked about in a previous video how much I really was surprised by the album Flesh the Fashion. I didn't really know too much about it. I'd heard it wasn't, these 80s Alice Cooper albums aren't very good. And I really, really liked it. I mean, I thought it was great. And people in the comments kept saying, well, you have to get Zipper Catches Skin, because that's great too. I don't think it's as great as Flesh the Fashion. It's okay. It's a little less memorable, little more kind of corny, little less inspired, I guess. He's going for the new wave sound, changing up his image for Flesh the Fashion. Here, he's just sort of continuing it. It's already all been done type of thing. It's okay, though. I'd give it like 3 out of 5 stars if I was doing a star rating, whereas Flesh the Fashion would definitely be more than that. That's such a fun album. This album's okay, basically. Song on here, I Am the Future, I was familiar with because I think that's from the movie Class of 1984, which had Roddy McDowall and Perry King in it, if I remember right, about the whole class is full of like punk rock degenerates, and if we don't get it came out in 82, so the whole class is full of degenerates, and they've taken over the school with their mohawks and their knives and whatever, and if we don't get a grip, this is what's going to happen 2 years from now. It was that type of thing. Who knew that the future would actually go way beyond that, unfortunately. But yeah, there's the back cover. You can see he looks as though he is catching his skin in the zipper, and that's not a comfortable feeling. But yeah, Alice Cooper, Zipper Catches Skin, is okay. It's not as good as Flesh the Fashion. And those are my latest vinyl pickups. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Robert Fitton, and hopefully I will talk to you again soon. Next video coming up is going to be something I've been working on for 2 months. Over 100 albums from the year 1991 ranked.